There's no point during the story that a normal person is going to end up liking him, but you do sort of feel for the guy after a little while. You attend the holy places, which, as far as I can tell, is just some room you don't go into where the computer is.
You, me, us, we.
Have I told you lately that I love you? Well, I do, because you guys keep suggesting we do Tom Baker and Leela stories to review. I anticipated everyone being a bunch of assholes and giving me The Web Planet or Time Lash to review, just to watch me hate everything. But you guys give me the good stuff. And since I have such an affinity for Tom and Leela stories, I appreciate the dude below suggesting that we go back to where it all began and watch the very first story that featured her as the new companion. And we can answer the question of who could ever fill the shoes of Sarah Jane. Let's get into The Face of Evil. Subscribe or I'll force you to take the test of Horta. On Morty, a planet in the future, we start off with some moderately clothed people that have put Leela on trial. This group of primates are the Seva team, and Leela's crime is that she basically said that their god's plan for an upcoming raid was stupid. So she's now a blasphemer and is gonna get her ass banished. Sucks, but you don't mess with the Zoannon. Zoannon, by the way, is their god. Get used to it, they say it a lot. The tribal leader decides to give Leela a chance if someone will take the test of Horta for her, and at first I thought they were saying hoarder or hoardor. Hoarder like people who can't throw their shit away, and hoardor like this big sexy. But they mean these unpainted cybermats. Nobody wants to do it, which is kind of weird considering Tomas over here has a chubby for her. So her old ass dad says he'll do it. It don't work out though. So she's banished. The TARDIS materializes and the Doctor literally tells the viewer that he fucked up on the way to Hyde Park and decides to look around. Leela almost gets her ass killed by some crossbow dudes, but she kills one and spineless wanker Tomas kills the other. He wants to bring her back or go with her, either one, but she tells him to fuck off. She runs into the Doctor after running away from some invisible monsters and calls the Doctor the Evil One. He has a great response.
Well, nobody's perfect, but that's overstating it a little.
Then the Doctor says the thing.
I never met anyone called Leela. Would you like a jelly baby?
And Leela's response is yet another amazing moment.
It's true then. They say the evil one eats babies.
They hear some more of the invisible monsters and GTFO using an alarm clock that the Doctor had in his coat, and he also figures out that the invisible monsters stay outside of the boundary because this planet has got one of those invisible fence things that shock the shit out of your dog if it goes past it. Leela explains who Zoannon is, and the Evil One has got Zoannon captive somewhere with this group called the Tesh, so she takes the Doctor over to where that shit is happening. This short, bald knuckle is named Neva, and he's a dick. But unfortunately for everyone, he's also the Zoannon priest. Nobody likes him because he's got a direct line to God, so everyone just has to put up with him and plot behind his back all the time. It's a little warranted, because Neva talks to everyone like he's got little man syndrome and sometimes wears a glove on his head. He's a weird guy, but he overhears Tomas tell the leader about Neva sending two dudes to kill Leela, but like the leader would give a shit, he just sent her out to basically be killed by transparent predators. Anyway, more scantily clad assassins shoot at the Doctor, while Leela hides. They think the Doctor is the Evil One, with sugar-filled homicide. They call his bluff though, so they take him back to the camp and to the leader guy. The leader guy is named Andor, but calling him that makes me think about Star Wars, and I still haven't watched that series, and that kind of bugs me, so we're just gonna call him leader guy. Neva is hilarious, shaking some techno-babble thing at the doctor like a witch doctor. Since they think he's the evil one, they want him to release Xoanin or they're gonna kill him. But Neva wants the whole tribe to see it, so they wait to kill him because, of course they do. Plus, Neva wants to drip when this is happening, so he gets on his Sunday best. That shit don't matter though. Leela just pokes a guard with a Janus thorn, which paralyzes and kills him because of poison, and she cuts the doctor free. They escape, but the doctor sees his own creepy face carved into a rock. Turns out that rock face is that of the evil one. And it turns out that, yeah, it's the doctor. Problem is, he doesn't remember what he did. So he and Leela decide to head back to the village and get some answers. Luckily, Neva has convinced the tribe to carry out the raid that is supposed to free Xoanin, and wears that glove on his head. So the doctor is free to f*** around in his hut. He accidentally gets to talk to Xoanin from another helmet outfit and play the pronoun game.
You, me, us, we.
The problem is Xoanin sounds just like the doctor, and that freaks him right the f*** out. He goes out to check on the barrier wall that Leela mentioned and figures out that the Seva team's little raid is going to result in all of them dying. This happens. Well, sort of. Half of them die anyway, and the doctor and Leela try to convince this guy to join them when he just sticks Leela with one of those Janus thorns. Tomas runs in, distracting things enough for the doctor to, do something to this idiot's leg. They don't exactly show it, and then grab a crossbow. Dickhead claims the doctor broke his leg, but that's some bullshit because he's fine later and the doctor uses some tech in the room to make an antitoxin to save Leela. The rest of the Seva team hold a little argue sesh and then decide that they're gonna give the doctor the test of the Horda. So they take the doctor and hold him over a little box full of those cybermat creatures and slowly open the floor. They also hand him a crossbow, which, doesn't make a lot of sense since he could just use it to kill one of them. I mean, sure, he would still die and the doctor isn't one to do something like that, but these numbnuts don't know that. Anyway, Leela tries to give him some hints on what to do, but some asshole slaps her and the doctor kicks a Horda at him, which was awesome. Anyway, the doctor shoots the rope that is lowering the rock that is opening the pit with all the Horda and passes the test. Xoanin decides he's going to turn off the boundary that keeps these invisible monsters out so the doctor can be killed. The doctor makes a ray gun that looks like it has 2 testicles on it. He checks on Neva, who is now pretty much catatonic because he's lost his faith, and figures out the best way to get to Xoanin is through the Tom Rockface. Then the best exchange in the whole story happens.
Where's the bridge through the barrier? Up the nose?
No, it isn't.
Elsewhere, the tribe leader gets killed by an angry doctor face. The doctor and Leela do the platform 9 3/4 thing and pass through an invisible wall. It's actually a hidden anti-gravitational transport, but that's too difficult to explain. It just gets them to a broke-down spaceship. The doctor figures out the Seva team was at one time the survey team that went out to explore the planet, while the Tesh are the technicians that stayed on the ship. And it also jogs his memory that he kind of f***ed up when he was here a long time ago, but then he gets interrupted by the Tesh. That's these useless wastes of space that are dressed up like rejected greeters from Tomorrowland at Disney World. They sort of act like the priests around these parts, but then Leela threatens them, and they use some telekinetic mind powers to immobilize her. They take her over to be reduced to atoms with a particle analyzer, and that pisses the doctor off, so the reject priests of Emerald City uses his fancy thinking powers to immobilize the doctor too. Even though they know who he is and think he's come to save them, they really like killing savage women. They try to kill both of them with their particle machine, but the doctor gets out of that in about 2 seconds, as expected. They run around for a little while, evading the prissy priests and basically a funhouse mirror setup, and the Doctor radios Neva to get everyone to come to the ship, and then heads to where Xoanon is. He goes in to talk to Xoanon. You see, he showed up on the ship a while back, and he found a group of humans that had a broken computer, and he thought the data core was damaged, and he also figured out that it was sentient, and then he uploaded his brain into it to fix it. And he's not really IT. He forgot to wipe his brain from it once it was fixed. So now it has a split personality. Xoanon doesn't give a so it starts trying to do mind to the Doctor, and then it starts screaming at him.
Who am I? Who am I?
Leela comes in and uses her cock and ball blaster to shut Xoanon up and drags the Doctor out of there. Seems Xoanon has electrified the walls, so this little Tesh bitch gets his ass killed when the Doctor kicks him into it. But then Xoanon just does more mind to Leela to make her try and kill the Doctor, but he just hypnotizes her right back. Elsewhere, Neva and Team Seva Team make their way back to the ship to f*** up, and this little Tesh nerd comes in screaming about it to the head dude. But head Tesh isn't having it, even though he acted like a little frustrated bitch in the last episode. We got ourselves another hypocrite religion, boys! Anyway, the Doctor and Leela make it back to the main control room, but Xoanon hits the self-destruct. So you know, that shit's not good. The Doctor's got 24 minutes to fix everything, but Xoanon just starts hypnotizing everyone on the ship. Leela, Tesh, Caleb, Thomas, and the boys all go to kill the Doctor. See what you guys can accomplish when you work together? Everyone but our short king Neva, who takes his BBC gun and blasts the thing right in Xoanon's mouth. It kills Neva, but also disrupts the hypnosis long enough for the Doctor to hook up some doohickey thing to his head and erase his personality from the databanks. Everybody's gonna be okay. The Doctor was knocked out when all this happened, and Leela wakes him up with some chocolate 2 days later. They head over and talk to the new Xoanon, who now only has one personality and can create Victorian couches out of thin air. Anyway, the Seva team and the Tesh argue about who's gonna lead them, but the Doctor doesn't care, so he GTFOs. Leela also chases him and wants to go with him, but the Doctor isn't cool with that, so she just gives him a taste of his own medicine by not caring either and runs into the TARDIS. The end. Okay, well, they can't all end as good as they start, and this one is a prime example of that. Let's go ahead and talk about the things that I liked. This story is so good. Well, you know, for the most part. Especially in the beginning. It gets a little wonky at the end, but the premise really kept me engaged outside of the parts that weren't convoluted. The setup is this very typical science fiction that has this team from Earth going to some remote planet to survey it, but then goes wrong, and we meet them generations later and find out that they've turned into two religious cults at war due to some rogue computer acting the fool. That is a great sci-fi premise right there, and even though you figure out pretty quickly what the deal is, it's still pretty fun to watch it play out. The issues that I have with the story don't really stem from the Seva team and all their drama. I liked how they're being manipulated by the voice of Xoanon and the short king witch doctor. I liked the political struggle in the tribe with everyone either following blindly with the religious cult or a few that are thinking practically about the planned invasion and how they're going to get their asses handed to them if they go through with it. I especially love the idea that the Doctor f***ed up when he helped this little stranded tribe with their computer, and now they think he's the devil and he has to go fix it. That's good sci-fi, and excellent Doctor Who. Like I said, some of the execution was lacking once everything had been established, and we'll get into that in a minute, but as far as a Doctor Who premise, this one is top-notch. I've given the little crybaby some shit already, but I want to give Neva his due. This pint-sized shaman goes on quite the character journey, and it's pretty fun to watch. There's no point during the story that a normal person is going to end up liking him, but you do sort of feel for the guy after a little while. He's an ambitious asshole that thinks he's running the show due to his direct line to God through the helmet communicator. He's way too stupid to understand that he's being manipulated. At first, I kinda thought his ambition blinded him to that fact, but when the truth does come out, and his prophecies were wrong and he goes into some catatonic state over it, you realize, yeah, he fully believed in Xoanon. And finding out that he was manipulated the way that he was, and that he was the tool used to kill half of his own tribe, crushes him. And his blind faith in a fallible leader or deity is a really timely lesson for the world we currently live in. And I was happy when he was the one to shoot the crazy computer personality rather than the doctor. I can have way more sympathy for a guy that was duped because he bought into some bullshit situation than I can for somebody who knows it's all bullshit but buys into the power grab. Uh-oh, I may be thinking about current events too much. Not only was the character arc nicely executed, but the performance was great too. Nice job, Short King. I didn't like it throughout the whole story, but I'm pretty sure that was the point. Tom Baker and Louise Jameson have great chemistry. Now I know that Tom sort of felt like he didn't need a companion and could probably carry the show on his own. He wasn't wrong, he likely could have. But having Leela, a strong female companion that was pretty much the polar opposite of the typical companion that we normally get, and a very far cry from Sarah Jane, to save him with murder over and over again during her run was the right call. Never mind the proactive companion, we've had those before. Hell, Ian wasn't afraid to throw a dude off the ledge when he needed to. But we're talking about a companion that has zero qualms about murdering someone as a first option. Not because she's evil or anything, but that's how she was raised. It just gives the show a much needed shift. And I love that Leela keeps that personality trait as the Doctor tries to teach her different philosophies, but he also supremely benefits from her being a ruthless hunter. Hell, if they tried to write her character today, she would have tried to kill someone one time, the Doctor would have stopped her, and then she would have just fallen into the role of girl companion and ended up boring or a single mom. Sorry, Belinda. And even though Tom was pretty full of himself by this point, you can't deny how well they work together. Louise Jameson never oversteps her role and never takes away from what Tom is doing, and that shit couldn't have been easy. By this point, the Tom train was barreling down the tracks in a big way. But Leela never rides the Doctor's coattails in the background. She's always just this presence and always comes across as a character worthy of your attention. It's hard to find too many companions that would work with pretty much any other Doctor, but I feel like Leela would. I would pay extremely good money to alter the space-time continuum to watch Leela travel with Nine. Those farting aliens would have been long dead before any bombs blew up on Downing Street, I can tell you that. Things I didn't like. The Tesh suck. I don't really grasp their purpose other than making sure they run some updates for the computer.
Do your people have a holy purpose?
We serve Xoanon and tend the holy places. We guard his tower against the savage. We deny the flesh so that our minds may find communion with Xoanon.
Okay, fine. But that really isn't f***ing much when you think about it. So you serve Xoanon, which, fine man, throw a rock and you can hit somebody doing that around here. You attend the holy places, which, as far as I can tell, is just some room you don't go into where the computer is. You defend the tower from the savages, which I assume you mean the Seva team, but we already saw earlier that they're kept out by that black barrier, and you deny the flesh so your minds can communicate better with Xoanon. By that, I assume you guys conduct yourselves like priests, and that kinda makes me worry for any kids you might have running around. So their stated purpose on what they do basically translates into not a damn thing. Plus, if they have the ability to take someone down mentally, why the f*** are they bothering with the gunfight later? You guys can take down the Doctor with your mind, so it kind of baffles me why you run around with your little sonic testicle guns. I'm sorry, but the test of Horta is dumb as hell. I've already mentioned that it's a little on the dangerous side to hand a weapon to somebody that's going to have to stand over that pit as it opens up. But hey, maybe since it's normally used as some cool hunter test, you aren't handing crossbows over to your enemies on normal occasions. But if you're gonna test to see if the guy standing in front of you really is the evil one, it's pretty dumb. Plus, this isn't exactly a big pit, and really it's just some concrete box you created and throw these little bitey slugs into it. I mean, fine, but if I'm on this thing waiting for the rope to become thinner but faster as it opens below me and I miss, I'm just stepping off the box. I'm not waiting around to get my balls shredded by these little things. Now, I don't know if Andor, Caleb, and the boys are going to grab hold of me and throw me back into the murder box, but I'm at least giving it a shot because these dum-dums wear gloves on their heads and bang a gong off sheet metal. They ain't too bright is what I'm saying, and maybe my fight or flight move vexes their brains so much they put me in the farmer group. Hunting seems to be pretty dangerous anyway on this planet. Things I didn't understand.
What?
Look, I get it. Grown adults are probably going to question the boogeyman or the devil or the evil one at some point, because rational brains tend to question authority no matter the setting. But I find it difficult to understand why several of the Sevateem, the Tesh, or even Leela don't believe the Doctor is truly the evil one. Okay, maybe the Tesh I can understand, considering they suck and know telepathy and all. But yeah, I don't understand why these primates didn't just kill the Doctor on sight. Look, I may be a simpleton myself, but even if I have trouble following the teachings and instructions from Zoannon's tiny prophet over here, the fucking carved out face on the side of the rock doesn't exactly lie. And who knows how long that face has been there? Likely well before Thomas, Caleb, or Andor have been alive. You're telling me these fuckers have put everyone through a rite of passage that consists of standing over a pit of flesh-eating critters, and the only ones that get to live are the ones that accurately shoot the rope through the opening in the window, are not going to be the ones that take a look at the exact same face that they have been told their whole lives is basically the devil incarnate, and are just going to be like, yeah, I don't think you're the evil one. These weirdos are planning a raid through some blacked out psychic wall to free their god from the devil, and then some dude with the exact same face as that devil walks into your hut and you don't kill him immediately? And some of you believe he's telling the truth? He's not even dressed in a way that you have ever seen in your life, and is currently in league with the chick you just banished for blasphemy, and some of you even watch as he uses one of the decorations in Neva's little hut to cure that girl from poison that, for all you know, means certain death. Look, I'm not very sure that Neva was a very good cult leader. I don't understand how either of these groups are procreating. Maybe there's some more females around, but I don't see any with the Tesh, and the only ones we see with the Sevateem is Leela. The Tesh? Shit, I don't know, maybe they have weird telekinetic computer babies with Zoannon, since they're supposed to deny the flesh and act like prissy assholes with their pillbox hats. But the Sevateem? Again, I get it. I'm supposed to infer that there is a lot more of them somewhere, but I think I completely understand why Leela runs into that TARDIS at the end. I know. Why can't this guy just be normal and do reviews like everyone else on YouTube? Because I'm weird, and there's too many of those people anyway. Plus, I can guarantee you that none of them's got a section called
Nitpick Corner!
Anyone ever wonder what would happen if the Doctor did die in some of these situations that we see? Like when the leader of the tribe has the Doctor tied up and is about to knife him in the throat, but Neva stops him so they can kill the Doctor in front of the whole tribe. Imagine how hilarious it would be if he did kill him right there. Homie thinks he's gonna kill the evil one to free Zoannon, but then the Doctor just regenerates into Davidson. And now that we know that the Doctor doesn't have any set number of regenerations, even if they just kept killing him, he just keeps turning into different people. I don't think they get past Capaldi because he would end that shit pretty quick.
Big fat egg of solid fuck.
Look, I really enjoyed this story. I love Tom Baker and he was great. I love Leela, and watching her first story on how she ended up in the TARDIS is a lot of fun. Honestly, while I was watching the first 2 parts, I was wondering if there was going to be anything that I didn't like at all. Then the Tesh show up, and the whole Zoan and split personality due to the Doctor uploading his personality into it isn't exactly that fleshed out. But even so, it is pretty rare for Classic Who to call anything the Doctor does or even ever has done into question, or ever really explore the consequences of some of the questionable things that he does. So this one's pretty fun to watch. Could it have been better? Yeah, but it makes up for it with Leela being a badass and playing a bit with the overall mystique of the Doctor while letting Tom be Tom. I give The Face of Evil a 7. There are some pretty bold choices here that work for me, and I love the different element that Leela brings to the show. If I had been watching this at the time, I would have been pretty excited about the future after losing Sarah Jane. So, what about next time? Well, we got a request to reach very far back into the history of the show, all the way back to the first season, and review a story that is remembered pretty fondly for the Doctor accidentally getting engaged and a companion being mistaken as a goddess. We're going black and white, bitches. We're reviewing The Aztecs, as requested by Yeaton Clifton Y9W. So like, subscribe, and comment what you would like Salty Ham to review in the coming weeks, and we may just watch and have a laugh at it together. And as always, the very powerful and Salty Ham have one thing in common. They don't alter their views to fit the facts. They alter their facts to fit the views. Zoannon's big head is going round. Everybody talking about the Tesh's gowns. Weird hat priest too. It's plain to see. No one knows their jobs, they're just a mystery. I have seen them, maybe once or twice. One thing I can say is no, not very nice. They are dum-dums, ones I really want to roast. Somehow I've got to let my feelings show. They're Tesh, useless. They are so useless to me. They're Tesh, boring. They are so boring to me, yeah. I've been thinking about the way you surf. Baby, you got a lot of nerve. Tell you something I really can't hide. You deny the flesh, then you want genocide. Holy places, it's one damn room. You guard that door like it's the garden tomb. You see Leela, she's my savage queen. You freaking touch her and I'll break your spleen. They're Tesh, they're pious. They are so pious in me, yeah. They're Tesh, not needed. No, their presence wasn't needed. Look, if you made it this far, I'm sorry. You really only have yourself to blame if you didn't figure out my videos get worse as they go along. But the fact that you did it makes me happy. And as a special treat, YouTube wants you to check out this video. I mean, you can do what you want, but I think you'll probably like it. Join me next time as we get into the William Hartnell era. Should be fun.